Hey guys, what's up? Bronze Castro here, coming straight at you with the facts. Alright, so I chose to review an article that is already an analytical article of Robert Burns, To a Mouse. Now, the title of this article is called Human Mouseness, Burns, and Compassion for Animals. I'm just going to try to speed through this. I don't want to take too much of your time. Essentially, David Perkins, the man who wrote this article, makes the claim that now this claim that he makes isn't anything that's groundbreaking. It's not anything that we don't already know. It's very cut and dry, but he does offer some new perspectives that we might not have thought about prior to. Now he says that Burns, entitled So, and Compassion for Animals, is probably the most compassionate person towards animals to ever write poetry ever. Now, like I said, this isn't anything groundbreaking, but he really goes to the point to bring up the facts that Robert Burns did advocate for animals. He was very ahead of the curve. He was very ahead of his time. His caring and love for animals was unprecedented at the point in history where people at that point in that part of the world were using animals as a commodity. They were using animals as a way to survive. They were using animals as a way to make money, and the list goes on and on. Now, Perkins also points out that as far as cultural relativism goes, is that Burns probably would be doing so at the same point in time where we are today. That we have come a long way in the way that we treat animals, but we've also regressed very much as far as farming goes, farming practices. I don't want to get too political about that, but he does point that out within this article. Now, I can't say that I disagree with this. Like I said, this is very cut and dry. This is very to the point, very direct. We all kind of understand this as the sort of textbook understanding that we know Burns to be. Now, the one point in this article that I don't necessarily agree with Mr. Perkins is that he says, well, in the last line of To a Mouse, Robert Burns essentially tells the mouse that he is in a better position because that the human has more problems than an animal, that the human has more troubles, more things to deal with, and that he is in fact in a better position. Now, Perkins says that's stupid, that should have made the final cut. I don't know why he said that, because everything that's been leading up to the last line in the last stanza is that we are equal, and then at that last minute he switches the dynamic and says, well, you have it better off than I do. Now, where I can see where Perkins is coming from, because that, this is an analytical article. I don't think that that's realistic, because as humans we're flawed. As humans we don't have the discretion to know all the answers. We don't have it figured out. So the fact that Burns was a very idealistic, caring, loving person is going to make him susceptible to the flaws, to issues, to all sort of number of things. So he's not going to be perfect, and I appreciate imperfection. I think that's just the way that it goes. Now, the part that I thought was most interesting was that, and I didn't really notice this, that he points out that Perkins points out there really aren't any political undertones to this poem, and that may be the case in other of Burns' work. You kind of just take it as like, oh, that was controversial at the time, it's political, because we do that all the time. We like to categorize things, say it's controversial, that makes it political. No, it was controversial because it was different, and it's different because I think he was coming from a place of honesty, and he wasn't trying to make anybody mad. He was just speaking his mind, and it just happened to be against the grain. So that's basically all. I look forward to your comments. I know I couldn't get everything in here, but if I missed anything, let me know, and I'll get back to all you guys. Thank you very much.